we invited callers to give us a call here live and join in on the conversation with your questions. Always, the viewers, you play an important role here. It's your questions that maybe other people watching the show have a similar question. So we encourage you to give us a call. And David has done that. You're ready to go to work and answer a few of these. Been waiting for a few minutes here. David from Louisiana is up first. Welcome. Are you with us, David?
Yeah.
Very good. Your question.
Can you use it in the garden or your vegetables and stuff?
Use it in a garden. No,
absolutely. You can, if you can get the dealer to put some of the AGROTAIN on the fertilizer that you're buying. It's designed to go on any nitrogen-loving crop, so it absolutely would help you in the garden or in as well as a farm.
How would they apply that differently in such a small area? Now there are some big gardens out there. I guess I'm looking at kind of thinking of my own case where it's pretty small, but.
They would have to go to a fertilizer dealer, and he'd have to provide them some that was already impregnated. He's not going to be able to do this on his own very easily, but it's possible. It's quite easy to do, and the dealers are all of them set up to provide that for them.
Very good.
Could I add to this just what Martin said? I think what's really important to remember is that we're not talking about a crop-specific type of fertilizer or additive. This is very specific to urea and urea-containing fertilizers. So any crop that you're utilizing urea as the fertilizer of choice, then it's going to benefit from it.
Very good. Good point. And we hear from Chase out in Maryland. We were glad you called.
Yes, good evening,
Good
gentlemen.
evening.
A question on pH levels and organic matter soil levels of all of your tests. What are pretty much the ranges for these two variables as far as the efficacy of your product?
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Chase. You bet.
Chase, that is an excellent, excellent question, because I'm a believer in no-till, which means that we're going to have a lot of residue and high organic matter. One of the things that we've found out in some of the studies that we've done is that you can have a pH out there of 5.4 or 5.5, but if you have a layer of organic matter and a layer of residue, your pH is going to be higher. It can be as high as 7.5, 7.6, 7.7. So anytime that you use that product, the AGROTAIN urea product, it's going to stop or minimize the volatility from that urea. The other thing is, let's say that you have a conventional till system where you're actually going out and plowing your ground and putting urea down, and your pH is around 5.5. Remember something else. Around that microsite where that granule falls, as it starts to melt and hydrolyze, the pH at that site increases, maybe as much as 7.5, 7.6, 7.7. So again, subject to volatility.
Wow. Are you taking notes, viewers? I know I am. Learning something every time our friends from AGROTAIN are here. Let's go from Maryland back to the Midwest and Wisconsin, where Tim has called us. Tim, we're thanking you for the call, and what's on your mind tonight?
Yes. Oh, I'm here.
Absolutely. How can we help you?
Yes, the name is Jim.
Oh, Jim. I'm sorry. It says Tim up here. Jim, what's still from Wisconsin, I hope?
Yes, from Wisconsin.
Okay, all right. How can we help you, Jim?
The question is, I've been using urea for years.
Mm-hmm.
I've been using urea for years,
right.
and I was wondering, I work my land, and I work the urea in before I plant.
Right.
Is AGROTAIN still good at that point, too?
I can answer that question. If Jim's incorporating his urea right away, I would generally recommend that he doesn't need to use AGROTAIN. The question is how soon after the urea is applied does he work it in? If you work it in within the same day, you're probably just fine. If it takes you a week to get back and get that incorporated, it could be a serious issue. So timing of your incorporation is critical. And that's how I would recommend that.
That's a great question, I would guess, especially this past year. There was a lot of variations as it relates to when they started putting on urea or whatever, and when they finally continued field work in that same field, maybe weeks later.
Yeah, there was a lot of delays, a lot of moisture, and as John pointed out, or Dr. Engel pointed out, wet conditions are key to volatility, so even cold. One of the things that we also find out is that the reason that the farmers are so quick to have to incorporate is that they know that this volatility is going to happen right away. And so this gives, if they don't have to work it in quite so fast, it gives them some timing and some application options that they may have not have considered.
Very good. All right, thanks for that call, Jim, and hope you'll call back again. Let's go to Pennsylvania. Our next caller, Daryl, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. My question is, we applied urea with AGROTAIN and without, and within a couple of days I noticed that they both mellowed away. Did the AGROTAIN still help?
Again, another great question. Is that any research that you can help Daryl or address the question?
You bet. Daryl, excellent question. You know what? When the urea melts, the AGROTAIN stays with the urea. And as it moves into the soil profile, the more moisture you get, then the urea starts to separate from that AGROTAIN so that it can get down into the soil profile and start going through hydrolysis as natural. So yeah, it stays with it. You don't lose it.
All right. Well, he's gone, but I hope that answers your question and other viewers who, again, may have the same. We're talking to our friends from AGROTAIN here tonight, and nitrogen loss in cold weather. Is it the same? And we're finding that out here tonight. Temperature is certainly important, and moisture as well. We go to Texas. Sammy is up next. Sammy, welcome.
Hello, gentlemen. My question is, we are about 25 miles southwest of College Station, and we have a very, very wet fall.
Yes, you did.
Is it more practical to go ahead and put the product on, urea and AGROTAIN on at this time, or possibly wait till January when things dry out a bit?
All right, yeah, there's a part of the country where they have some options in the South. And by the way, I'm sure a great facility there at College Station that you work with.
It is a great facility. We just lost a professor to retirement, Vince Habe, who was from there and did a lot of work for us down there. So
Sammy has an option now or in the spring?
Well, my opinion is you do it in the spring. We don't have a lot of data that looks at fall application unless it's a crop that would utilize nitrogen in the fall. And if it was, then yeah, you could use the AGROTAIN with the nitrogen. But if it's just to put it down so that it'll be available next spring, no, I would wait.
So people are watching us all across that Sun Belt.
Right.
That's much the same. You know, wait till spring.
Right.
Would be your recommendation if they have that similar type question or an option that they're maybe considering.
I had a man call me from Kansas and wanted to know about applying urea in the fall and for his corn crop in the spring. And my response was, we don't have any data that shows that works. Keep it with what we know, do it in the spring.
Absolutely.
I would also comment that typically we try to stay with whatever the best management practices would be, and that is, you try to put the nitrogen as close to when the plant wants it as you can. And so, going out early has more risk than, going closer to when the plant's asking for the nitrogen.
And one more comment. As always, that we would recommend, be sure and talk to your extension person that makes the recommendations for you about when to put your nitrogen down and how to apply it.
Because they have that. They may have some specific research for your specific area.
That's correct.